Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something a little different this time, but something tells me you're going to love it. We're talking about AI, specifically how AI is shaking things up in the world of innovation. We're diving deep into a report called The People-Centric Lab of the Future. Catchy title, right? It's by Arthur D. Little, and these guys, they're known for spotting big changes in the business world before anyone else.
And this report, let me tell you, it doesn't disappoint. It kicks off with a pretty bold statement.
Mhm.
AI is going to be as big as electricity, or even the internet. But, and here's the question, what does that actually mean for innovators?
Okay, so paint me a picture here. Are we talking robots zipping around labs, like handing out eureka moments with a side of coffee?
Haha, well, maybe not the coffee part. But the report really gets into how AI can help us become better innovators, not just faster ones.
Now, that is a distinction worth making. Speed is great, and all, but it's got to be about unlocking those game-changing ideas, right?
Exactly. And the report actually points out that a lot of companies, like a surprising number, are struggling with their innovation game, a good 80% to be precise. They're not getting the results they want from their innovation effort.
80%, that's huge. It's like everyone's trying to hit a moving target, and it sounds like AI might be the answer.
That's where AI steps in. Imagine having like an extra teammate who can analyze massive amounts of data, and not just any data, but the kind that reveals patterns and opportunities that, let's face it, we humans might miss.
Okay, so AI as our innovation detective. I'm intrigued.
There's this cool example in the report about this AI called Co-Scientist. It's being used in chemistry labs to, get this, design and run experiments. It analyzes mountains of data, recommends the best paths for research, and can even predict outcomes.
Now, that's next-level stuff. It's not just crunching numbers. It's an active player in the scientific process. So we're talking about AI as this, like, super-powered sidekick for human ingenuity.
Precisely. And that brings us to another big idea from the report, something they call the T-shaped innovator.
Okay, T-shaped innovator. I've definitely heard that term thrown around, but to be honest, it always sounded a bit, I don't know, futuristic to me.
Well, it's less about robots and more about human skills. Think about the letter T, the vertical line, that's your deep expertise, your area of mastery.
So that's your unique skill set, the thing you bring to the table.
Exactly. But the horizontal line, that's equally important. That's your ability to collaborate, to connect your expertise with other fields, integrate knowledge from different areas.
Ah, so you can't just be brilliant in a silo, right? You have to step out and connect the dots with what others are doing.
And that's where the real magic happens. And the report, it makes a strong case for how AI can boost both sides of the T, making you a better expert and a better collaborator.
That makes a ton of sense. But how does AI actually bridge the gap between different fields? Break down those knowledge silos we always hear about.
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
The report actually talked about knowledge getting siloed, like stuck in different departments, different teams. We've all been there, right? You need a specific piece of information, and it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
It's a huge time waster, for sure, and a creativity killer. But imagine, what if you had a system, like right at your fingertips, that could instantly connect you to the right info and the right people in your company?
Okay, now you're speaking my language. No more endless email chains or hoping you know the right person to ask.
Exactly. The report talks about things like advanced knowledge search engines and even these intelligent trigger systems. So let's say you're working on a project and you type in a keyword, boom, the AI digs up all the relevant research, connects you with internal experts, maybe even suggests solutions based on similar projects.
So it's not even just about finding stuff, it's about making those connections, the ones that spark new ideas.
Exactly. And when those connections happen easily across teams, across departments, that's when you get real collaboration.
It's like shifting from everyone working in isolation
Yeah.
to this like free-flowing exchange of ideas.
And that leads to faster breakthroughs, more creative solutions, just a much more agile and innovative organization overall.
And speaking of agile and innovative, the report had this really interesting case study about Apple. I mean, they just keep coming out with these amazing products year after year. What's their secret?
Well, the report dug into their strategy, and it comes down to something they call ambidextrous innovation.
Ambidextrous innovation. It sounds kind of like, I don't know, doing two things at once.
That's a good way to put it. On one hand, they've got their really structured, process-driven approach, and that's key for optimizing what they're already good at, making those incremental improvements.
Right, so you're not constantly starting from scratch. You need that solid foundation to build on.
Exactly. But here's the other side of it, the ambidextrous part. They also have this whole other mode which is all about exploration, taking risks, experimenting with brand new ideas.
So it's like they're really good at the stuff they're known for, but they're also not afraid to shake things up and try something totally new.
Precisely. It's that balance, that ability to do both, that makes them so successful.
Okay, so that's Apple, but how do we bring a little bit of that ambidextrous innovation into our own work?
It's a good question, right? It's about finding that sweet spot. How can you refine and improve what's already working while also making space for those bigger, bolder, maybe even riskier ideas?
And that takes leadership, right? Someone who can encourage that kind of, I don't know, dual approach.
Absolutely. And the report really emphasizes that Apple, they invest a lot in developing leaders who can do just that. Leaders who foster a culture where both those incremental improvements and those radical innovations can thrive.
Which makes sense, because even with amazing AI tools at our fingertips, it's still on us, on humans, to lead the way, to collaborate, and to use those tools to come up with the next big thing. So we've covered a lot of ground here, and it's clear that AI has the power to really transform the way we innovate. But where do we even start?
Yeah, it can feel a bit overwhelming, like drinking from a fire hose of information.
Right. So let's break it down. What are the key takeaways here? What should our listeners be thinking about?
The report actually does a great job of distilling everything down to 3 main points. First up, identify those AI opportunities in your own work.
Okay, so take a look around your world. Where could AI help you level up?
Exactly. Where are the pain points, the bottlenecks, the things that just take way too much time?
Got it. So pinpoint those areas where AI could make a real difference. What's next?
The second big takeaway is all about collaboration. You got to break down those silos and foster a culture where people feel comfortable sharing knowledge and working together.
Because two heads are better than one, right?
Mhm.
And with AI in the mix, it's like having a whole brain trust to your fingertips.
Exactly. And that's where those AI tools come in, connecting the dots, bringing people together, and making sure everyone has the information they need when they need it.
Love it. Okay, so identify AI opportunities, embrace collaboration. What's the third point?
This one's all about becoming what we talked about earlier, that ambidextrous innovator.
Ah, right. Finding that sweet spot between structured processes and, shaking things up a bit.
Exactly. It's about having the confidence to say, hey, this process is working well, but what if we try something completely different over here?
So it's like having a portfolio of approaches, some tried and true, some a little more experimental.
And that takes leadership, right? Creating a culture where it's safe to experiment, where failure is seen as a learning opportunity.
Because at the end of the day, even with the most advanced AI, it's still on us, the humans, to be bold, to push the boundaries, and to use these tools to create something truly groundbreaking.
Couldn't agree more. It's an exciting time to be an innovator.
It really is. So as we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with one final thought. If you could build your dream AI-powered innovation team, what would it look like? What kind of challenges would you tackle? What kind of future would you invent? Keep those ideas flowing, and who knows? Maybe we'll be featuring your breakthrough on a future deep dive. Until then, keep innovating.